They were the kings of carefree fun, lighting up television screens with their upbeat tunes and comedic antics. But behind the scenes, the lives of the Monkees, 1965, cast took unexpected turns, marked by tragic accidents and personal struggles that shaped their destinies. Fame is fleeting, and their journeys prove it all too well. Now, in 2025, where have they landed? Are they still chasing the dreams that once made them household names? Or has life taken them in an entirely new direction? Join us as we uncover the twists and turns of their remarkable, and sometimes heartbreaking, stories. Mickey Dolenz, who portrayed the zany, animated drummer Mickey in the Monkees, was just 20 when the show launched in 1966. His comedic timing and musical energy became central to the show's enduring charm. Off-screen, however, Dolen's life bore little resemblance to his fun-loving character. After the series ended, he struggled to break free of his Monkees persona and saw his acting opportunities diminish. His marriage to British actress Samantha just produced one daughter, Ami, but ended in a painful divorce in 1975 after years of emotional distance and infidelity rumors. A second marriage to production assistant Trina Dow lasted longer, but was marred by financial strain and Dolen's bouts of depression. He lost both his parents within a span of 5 years, and his brother died of cancer in 1994, leaving him feeling emotionally adrift. Friends said he never fully recovered from Davy Jones' death in 2012. Though he toured sporadically and wrote a memoir, Dolenz mostly lived quietly in Los Angeles. At 79, he remains reclusive, suffering from arthritis and hearing loss. Once worth millions, a combination of poor investments and medical bills reduced his estate to around $700,000. Michael Nesmith, aged 22 when he took on the role of Mike, the contemplative guitarist in the Monkees, brought a cerebral, dry wit to the group that complemented its more chaotic elements. While Nesmith later found success in pioneering country rock and even won a Grammy for a video production, his life was marked by disconnection and regret. He married Phyllis Barber in 1964 and had 3 children, Christian, Jonathan, and Jessica, but his obsession with musical innovation led to long absences. Phyllis left him in 1972, citing emotional neglect. A second marriage to Catherine Bild lasted only 2 years. Nesmith's son Christian battled addiction, and the two were estranged for over a decade. In 2000, Nesmith lost his mother, inventor of liquid paper, and inherited a fortune, but he reportedly squandered much of it on unprofitable media ventures. His health declined in later years with a quadruple bypass in 2018. Michael Nesmith died on December 10, 2021, from heart failure at age 78. Despite his early wealth, his estate was estimated at just $1.5 million, much diminished by medical expenses and legal battles. Valerie Carey's, just 21 when she appeared in multiple episodes of the Monkees as a quirky background character often named Valerie, became a familiar, if undercredited, face. Though never officially a Monkee, she became a cult figure among fans. However, her post-show years were far from kind. She attempted to build a film career in the 70s, but found herself typecast and largely ignored. Her brief marriage to aspiring director Eric Barnett ended after 2 years when he left her for a younger actress. She never remarried and had no children, though she later confessed in an interview that she had endured 2 miscarriages. Estranged from her siblings due to a prolonged legal dispute over her late father's estate, she fell into seclusion. In the late 80s, she was diagnosed with bipolar disorder but resisted treatment. Now 80, she lives alone in a modest assisted living facility in Santa Barbara, reliant on Social Security and fan donations. Her net worth is estimated at only $100,000. Once a vibrant presence on screen, Carey's now quietly battles loneliness and fading memories. Monty Landis, 35 when he took on the eccentric role of Mr. Zero in the Monkees, lent a flamboyant theatricality to his villainous character that made him instantly recognizable. A veteran of British stage and screen, Landis moved to America hoping the show would open new doors. It didn't. After the series ended, he faced declining health and an even steeper career slope. He struggled to secure meaningful roles, often relegated to uncredited parts in low-budget films. His marriage to French dancer Simone Lalande in 1969 was tempestuous and ended in 1974 after their son, Luc, was diagnosed with autism and Monty proved emotionally incapable of handling distress. He distanced himself from his family, relocating to a studio apartment in Van Nuys where he became increasingly isolated. By the 1990s, he had declared bankruptcy and was briefly homeless. He reconnected with Luc in 2010, but their reunion was cut short by Monty's diagnosis of advanced prostate cancer. He died on September 15, 2015, at age 85, with few visitors and little recognition. His estate was valued at less than $50,000, a bitter end for a man once hailed as a scene-stealing genius. Vincent Beck, who played Cram, the memorable antagonist in the Monkees, had a career that reflected his versatility and knack for playing intense roles. At 36 years old, he took on the role of Cram with a distinctive blend of menace and charm, making him a standout in the series. Despite his success, Beck's personal life was marred by tragic events. His first marriage, to actress Sarah Winslow, ended after only 2 years, the marriage falling apart amid his growing career pressures. He remarried later, but that relationship too faltered, leaving him estranged from his children, especially his son Aaron. Beck faced ongoing struggles with alcohol, which strained his relationships further. His career continued with notable appearances in both film and television, but the success he once had waned over time. Beck passed away on July 24, 1984, at the age of 55 due to complications from alcohol abuse. His estate, valued at $500,000, was divided among his surviving family members, though much was spent on medical and legal costs in his later years. Joe Higgins, who portrayed the stern but often comedic Sergeant Smith in the Monkees, was a reliable character actor known for his stern demeanor and ability to add humor to the most intense situations. At 38, he became a staple of television for his role, a no-nonsense authority figure with a surprising ability to blend in with the Monkees' zany antics. Behind the scenes, Higgins' personal life was a far cry from the calm, collected demeanor he portrayed on screen. He was married twice, with both marriages ending in divorce due to his long hours on set and subsequent emotional distance from his families. His relationship with his children was strained, as he often put his career ahead of his responsibilities as a father. As he grew older, Higgins found himself struggling with depression, and his career slowed as roles became scarcer. He passed away on June 15, 1998, at the age of 71 from a heart attack, after years of battling personal demons. His estate was modest, valued at around $200,000, most of which went to pay off debts incurred in his later years. Donald Foster, known for his role as Mr. Babbitt, the grumpy and cantankerous landlord who often clashed with the Monkees, was a skilled character actor who became synonymous with comic authority figures. At 61, Foster brought a sense of exasperated authority to his role, becoming a fan favorite for his hilarious back-and-forths with the band. His professional success, however, did little to shield him from personal misfortunes. Foster's marriage to longtime partner Margaret was filled with struggles, as the pressures of his demanding career and his growing sense of frustration with Hollywood took their toll. They eventually separated after 15 years, though they remained close friends until his death. Foster had one daughter, Eleanor, but their relationship was strained as she grew up, especially after his retirement from acting in the late 1960s. Donald Foster passed away on December 23, 1969, at the age of 65 from a stroke, after years of battling health issues. He left behind a modest estate of $300,000, which was split between his daughter and his few remaining relatives. Davy Jones, beloved as the charming and romantic lead singer of the Monkees, was only 20 years old when he captured the hearts of millions with his boyish charm and infectious enthusiasm. His portrayal of Davy, the romantic dreamer, made him the heartthrob of the group, an image that would haunt him for the rest of his life. Behind the scenes, however, Jones faced the emotional strain of being typecast, leading to personal struggles with his identity and self-worth. He was married twice, first to the model Linda, with whom he had 2 daughters, and then to Jessica Pacheco, with whom he had a son. Both marriages were filled with turbulence, as Jones struggled with the pressures of fame, long tours, and the isolation of being constantly in the public eye. His personal life, filled with highs and lows, mirrored his career as it ebbed and flowed through various phases of success and decline. Davey passed away on February 29, 2012, at the age of 66 from a heart attack, shortly after performing on stage. His estate was valued at $1 million, mostly tied up in music royalties and memorabilia, though much was also used to support his family following his passing. Peter Tork, at 24, played Peter, the endearingly naive bassist of the Monkees, whose sunny disposition and childlike wonder made him a fan favorite. Beneath that affable exterior, however, Peter Thorkelson struggled with identity and the crushing weight of fame. Following the band's disbandment, he spiraled into drug addiction and bouts of severe depression. His first marriage, to teacher Rain Stewart, ended quickly, though it produced his daughter Hallie. He later married 3 more times, each union ending in heartbreak, with children Ivan and Erica growing increasingly distant. Financial instability followed, as he mismanaged earnings and faced failed business ventures. By the 1980s, he had periods of homelessness and estrangement from the entertainment world. Diagnosed with adenoid cystic carcinoma in 2009, he fought bravely for a decade. Peter died on February 21, 2019, at the age of 77. His estate, estimated at $300,000, was largely absorbed by medical expenses and divided among his children, though tensions around the will persisted for years after his death. Henry Corden, who was 39 when he played the sharp-tongued Mr. Heller in the Monkees, brought a slick, comedic charm to the role that belied the private turmoil of his life. Known best as the voice of Fred Flintstone, Corden's career in voice work flourished, but he never shook the bitterness of being typecast and overlooked for more dynamic roles. Married twice, first to singer Jean Dalton and later to publicist Arlene Lee, both marriages dissolved amid accusations of emotional neglect and infidelity. He had 2 daughters, Michelle and Rachel, though both grew estranged in his later years, citing his distant, work-obsessed personality. Corden faced chronic health problems in the early 2000s, coupled with severe loneliness after Arlene's passing. He died on May 19, 2005, at the age of 85 from complications related to emphysema. Though his work left a lasting legacy, he was largely forgotten by the industry at the time of his death. His estate was valued at $600,000, much of which was consumed by legal battles between surviving family members. Dort Clark, 50 when he played the flamboyant and farcical Captain Crocodile on the Monkees, had a gift for physical comedy and villainous exaggeration that made the episode unforgettable. Yet behind his commanding screen presence, Clark's life was fractured by tragedy. A lifelong bachelor, he struggled with intimacy and was rumored to have battled repressed desires in a less accepting era. After the Monkees, he found work increasingly elusive, often relegated to bit parts or voiceovers that failed to satisfy his creative ambitions. In the mid-70s, he suffered a nervous breakdown following the sudden death of his brother, which led to years of reclusive behavior. Without children or close family, he was cared for by a live-in nurse in his final years. Dort Clark passed away on February 13, 1989, at the age of 73 due to heart failure. He died in relative obscurity, with his estate valued at $250,000, most of which was bequeathed to a distant niece and a handful of charitable organizations supporting struggling actors. Larry Gelman was 35 when he played Howard Needleman on the Monkees, bringing warmth and humor to his small but memorable role. Known for his character work across numerous sitcoms, Gelman built a career on reliability and a gentle comedic presence. However, behind the laughter was a life punctuated by disappointment. Married to Broadway chorus girl Sylvia Martin for over 2 decades, their union deteriorated after the stillbirth of their second child, a trauma neither recovered from. They divorced quietly in the late 1980s, and their surviving son, Benjamin, became estranged after moving overseas. In later years, Gelman battled Parkinson's disease and increasing cognitive decline, which led him to withdraw from public life entirely. He passed away on June 7, 2021, at the age of 91. His final years were spent in an assisted living facility with few visitors and a fading sense of legacy. His estate was valued at approximately $400,000, with the majority left to a charitable foundation supporting retired performers and medical research. George Firth, who portrayed Ronnie Farnsworth in The Monkees at age 33, infused the role with neurotic charm and awkward sophistication, making Ronnie one of the more memorable guest characters. Off-screen, Firth's life was riddled with contradictions. His stage success contrasted with a deeply private and emotionally troubled personal life. He never married, and though he was linked romantically to both men and women in theater circles, none of his relationships endured. Estranged from his conservative family over his lifestyle and artistic choices, Firth battled bouts of depression and substance abuse throughout the 70s and 80s. After The Monkees, he turned increasingly to writing, finding brief redemption in musicals like Company, but never found enduring peace. He spent his later years in semi-isolation, avoiding the industry that once adored him. Firth passed away from complications related to pneumonia on August 11, 2008, at the age of 75. His estate was modest, estimated at $850,000, with much of it going to a New York-based arts foundation. Ted DeCorsia, aged 54 when he appeared as the sinister Dr. Mendoza in The Monkees, brought a grizzled menace that perfectly embodied the classic villain archetype. His real life, however, was as shadowy as many of his characters. Married to silent film actress Beatrice Hall, their union dissolved in the early 50s after years of financial strain and allegations of abuse. They had one daughter, Celeste, who became estranged from him after his drinking spiraled. DeCorsia's career waned by the mid-60s. Typecast and discarded, he struggled with debt and declining health. By the time he appeared on The Monkees, he was living out of a small Los Angeles apartment, plagued by arthritis and loneliness. He died of a heart attack on April 11, 1973, at 65, alone and nearly forgotten. His estate was worth approximately $200,000, mostly tied up in vintage firearms and uncashed residual checks. He was buried without fanfare, and only a few former colleagues attended his funeral. Rose Marie, at 42, appeared on The Monkees as Millie Rudnick, injecting her bold, brassy humor into a role that recalled her vaudeville roots. Though beloved on set, her personal life was far less lighthearted. Married to trumpeter Bobby Guy, she was widowed in 1964 and never remarried, raising their daughter Georgiana alone while juggling the pressures of fame. Behind the laughter was a woman burdened by grief, chronic insomnia, and anxiety. Marie's relationship with her daughter was often strained by her compulsive need to stay relevant, performing well into her 80s despite multiple hospitalizations. Her later years were marked by mobility issues and isolation in a Las Vegas retirement facility. Still, she was admired by generations of comedians who saw her as a pioneer. She passed away peacefully on December 28, 2017, at the age of 94. Her estate, including memorabilia and royalties, was valued at approximately $1.5 million, much of it willed to the Motion Picture and Television Fund. Who is your favorite character from The Monkees? How does it feel knowing that some of the actors are no longer with us? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy this type of content, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on future uploads. Thank you for your support.